All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, November 21st. We got a small-ish MLB slate to jump into in today's video. We're gonna go through each and every game. I'm gonna give you my lean or leans on the games as we talk about them, but all of my final plays, so I'm actually gonna be rolling with myself, those will be in the pinned comment if you do want to fade me. Last night, it wasn't a sweep, but we'll take the 3-2 night. There's more green than there is red. That's always a good thing in sports betting. It's not a sweep like 2 nights ago, but we'll take the profitable night. We go 3-2. The Phillies and Braves, Twins and Reds, both cash on their totals. We had the over in the Phillies and Braves, the under in the Twins and Reds, and then the Brewers cash on the money line. The Orioles and Astros, I even bought that down to 8.5. What was the point? They barely scored any runs there. And then we had a plus EV play on Spencer Torkelson here for over 0.5 hits. He does not come through. But like I said, we'll take the 3-2 night. And our ride of the day does come up clutch here. Coming in from Jordan, Noel Marte here with, he got a hit, 0.5 hits. We cashed the over. He hit that in 16 of his last 20, make it 17 of his last 21. And shout out to Jordan for the ride of the day cash. If you guys do want to be the ride of the day, all you got to use is hashtag ride of the day. You got to use the hashtag. Use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me an absolute banger of a pick, and I'll be jumping on board with one person's pick in the comments, and you guys get a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we get to celebrate you. You get a good shout out. If you lose, we do got to talk about it. So enter at your own risk. But let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 of today's slate. We're looking at Tampa Bay taking on the Angels here. Now, the Angels with a big win yesterday. I said that Aaron Savali is going to pitch well. He didn't pitch well. The Angels win this one 8-3, and I have to imagine that Tampa Bay bounces back today. I don't think that they lose this series right now. It's split 1-1, but the odds aren't there. Minus 250 is just way too much to be considering, so I'd consider Tampa Bay to bounce back here on the run line, but I think what I'm liking more than anything is going to be taking a peek at the over 7.5 here. I think we are expecting some rain towards the later part of this game, but this is I think it's like a 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time first pitch, and I think there's rain coming in around 4 o'clock, so they might even be done by then. But yeah, give me the over in this game as my main lean, and then maybe we'll consider Tampa Bay on the run line. Griffin Canning's on the mound for the Angels. He's been letting up a boatload of runs as of late, not looking all that great. His last 3 starts here, he's got a near 5 ERA with a 1.33 whip. And on the mound for the Rays today is going to be Zach Eflin, who he's looked pretty good, but even still in his last 3, his ERA is all the way up at 3.71. So if these pitchers just kind of continue the trend that they're doing, I do think the Rays go out there, score a decent amount of runs. At least, we're hoping the Angels give you something, and 7.5 should be no problem. That is my main lean on this game. St. Louis taking on Milwaukee. I feel like this has just been filled with traps. Like even yesterday, the fact that we got Milwaukee for near even odds is absolutely crazy. And today it's the same thing. Right now you can get the Brewers at minus 105 over on DraftKings. They're technically underdogs. St. Louis is minus 115 at home. You have Wade Miley on the mound against St. Louis, who he pitched really well against them this year. I shouldn't say really well. I think he only pitched a couple innings, but nonetheless let up a home run, and that was it. One bad pitch, and then you kind of get yanked. So I shouldn't say he pitched well. Just didn't blow up, I guess. 1 home run, 1 inning. Maybe I'm giving him a little bit too much credit because we're on the Brewers today. I'm trying to find reasons why. But Miles Mikolas on the mound for St. Louis. And his last 3 here, he has not looked all that great. 6.5 ERA with a 1.44 ERA. He has success against the Brewers in the past, but that's dating back to last season. Nothing this year. And then in terms of the offenses, like I keep telling you guys, this is just a better offense for the Milwaukee Brewers as of right now. In their last 5 against righties, they're batting .260, which is upper average, right? Not necessarily crazy, middle of the road, but in the last 5 against lefties, Wade Miley being a lefty for the St. Louis Cardinals here, they're averaging 1.2 runs per 9, 185 average, right? So, I mean, they're just looking terrible. They have not hit a home run against a lefty in 5 games either. So, I'll take the Brewers yet again. Maybe it's another trap or another trap type line. We cashed that yesterday. I hate to kind of like beat a dead horse here or get greedy, but to me, all things still point towards Milwaukee. Even if you look at it from a bullpen perspective here, this Milwaukee bullpen has been pretty nails. Their available bullpen today, 2.72 ERA with a 1.1 whip, going up against a bullpen in the Cardinals in their last 3 year, 4.72 ERA with a 1.51 whip. Give me the Brewers on the money line. Total sitting at 8.5. I look at the over just because we've seen a couple games in a row now cash the over, but this is the end of a series game for these two. They might kind of want to, sleepwalk through it or not try and go all out from a runs perspective. So I will lean towards the over, but main lean in this one certainly is going to be on Milwaukee. All right, Washington taking on the Braves. Similar spot in terms of what I'm thinking from the Rays. Like, they just probably get the job done, but they are so heavily favored. It's tough to look at this and say, okay, let's take the Braves on the money line. I don't hate them on the run line in terms of actually results, but they're minus 155. That is a price that I would definitely stay away from in a run line spot, especially when the Braves have only covered the run line as favorites, which they're favorites a lot, in 3 of their last 10 games. Let's not forget that they went on a little bit of a slide here. In fact, they've only won 4 of their last 10, so it's hard to cover 1.5 when you're not even winning games to begin with, right? I do think that they go off and have a decent output today, so I'm going to lean towards the over here as well. They're going up against Jake Irvin, who he's certainly been hit or miss as of late and on the season, but I just think that the Braves are kind of in a get right spot here. They take a tough 6-5 or 6-5, I believe, loss yesterday. They have to get back on the winning train, and going up against a team like Washington just seems like, they can get right and get into that sort of good spot. And I think the last time they played, Washington beat them, if I'm not mistaken. So they might have a little revenge. But yeah, give me Atlanta. I'd consider them on the run line, but just way too much juice to be paying either way here. So I guess I would consider the over because I do think Atlanta is going to put up a lot of runs today. All right, guys, before we continue on with the slate, let me talk to you about Sleeper. If you are not on Sleeper yet and you're on Prize Picks or on Underdog, you might as well join Sleeper because Sleeper is really, really unique, and it's become my favorite as of late. Each and every pick you make has its own dynamic payout multiplier. You can pair 2 to 8 player props in a slip, and you can win up to 100 times, which is absolutely crazy, guys. And if you use the link in the pinned comment, you get 100% of your first deposit matched up to $100. You put in $100, they're going to give you a free $100. What is better than that? Like, that is an absolute no-brainer, right? So check out that link in the pinned comment. Again, guys, you can also just download the Sleeper Picks app and use code GUYBOSTON and get the same deal. Make sure to check it out. Again, I love their payout multipliers and everything like that, and they're definitely going to be throwing out some deals throughout this football season. I think for Monday Night Football last week, and maybe even Thursday night, right? They dropped 3 discounted props. 3 discounted props. That's okay in my book. So go check out Sleeper, guys. If it's eligible and legal in your state, I would highly recommend hopping on and getting that deposit matched 100% of it. Again, remember that, guys. And you can run up to $100, 100 times over there, which is crazy. Go check it out, guys. That is Sleeper. All right, this is an interesting one. We have the Yankees taking on Toronto. Toronto has absolutely dog-walked this Yankees team. They won 7-1, and then yesterday they win 6-1 here. Jose Barrios on the mound for Toronto. He's been fairly good as of late as well, but he's going up against Garrett Cole, who obviously is one of the better pitchers in the league. I think that I lean towards Yankees here, minus 135 on the money line, just because, these are divisional rivals. Maybe they take one of the games in the series, and they have the best pitcher on the mound. Now, like I said, this is an interesting one. If you guys are on Toronto, I don't think that this segment of the video is me telling you guys to get off that Toronto train. Their offenses look better. Their offenses look way better, in fact. But I'm trusting Garrett Cole to be able to kind of suppress that offense, and the Yankees offense can't do much worse than they have done. So hopefully he can go out there and actually, I guess, perform, right? In terms of Garrett Cole, too, against Toronto, this season he's been pitching really well against them. 2 starts, and he had 11 2/3 pitched through those 2 starts, right? 0 earned runs against Toronto this season. So he has what it takes to beat this team. And then on the flip side here, you have Jose Barrios, who had a start against the Yankees back in mid-May, 6 2/3 pitched, 8 strikeouts, but 3 earned runs on 3 hits here with 1 home run allowed. So he pitched, not as good as Garrett Cole did in that sort of pitcher versus team matchup. I don't think they pitched in the same game. I think they were 1 apart, but nonetheless, guys, give me the Yankees on the money line. Total sitting at 7.5. It's tough because, again, this is another spot where I'm like, it's just such a low number. Some teams I don't think are going to care that much to score a bunch of runs / make defensive plays. So those kind of counter each other, right? I'm going to lean towards the over just because it is a lower number, but I don't think that makes it into the final plays. When Vegas is setting these at, 7.5, knowing that's one of the lower totals, I don't think you can really doubt their logic in a sense. And it's usually, weather or winds blowing in or that type of a thing. So at 7.5, I am going to lean towards the over because it's so low. I don't think that necessarily becomes a final play because neither one of these offenses have been like crazy. Toronto, yes, like I said, has been way better than the Yankees, but they're still only batting like 240 against lefties in their last 10 or so. So nothing absolutely crazy. Phillies taking on the Mets here. I love the Phillies in the spot, but they are pretty heavily juiced at -165. I do like them, though. They're looking good. They just took 2 of 3 against Atlanta. An extra innings game yesterday, too. 6-5 win there. They got Bryce Elder out of the game very quickly. They're going up against David Peterson, who I don't really like. He has been pitching more consistently later on in the year, but still, I don't really love him. Ranger Suarez on the mound for the Phillies. He's been pitching fairly well. 2 flat ERA over his last 5. And then when it comes to the offensive perspective, you know the Phillies are a good offense too. So I do think that this is a spot in which they just are a better offense. I think their average is like 25 points higher on the season than the Mets. So I'll take the Phillies in this spot. Maybe too much juice to pay. As we know, the Phillies don't bat lefties as well as they do righties. Still obviously a good offense, but that is worth considering when you're paying this juice. Total sitting at 9 runs. As good as this Phillies offense is, I do think that I take a peek at the under here, even with the pitching on the mound. Like I said, the one caveat of this Phillies offense today is that they're going up against a lefty, which they struggle against lefties compared to righties. So even if they have a good offensive day against lefties today, I could see this being like a, I don't know, like a 5-3 type of a win for them, even if it's 5-4, push potential, that type of thing. Give me the under in this one as well. And guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're still watching here too. Hit that like button as well. But we're almost at 30,000 subscribers. So if you hit that subscribe button right here, it would mean the absolute world to me. 30,000 subscribers is literally, 10,000, 20,000. Those are subscriber counts I probably never thought that I would get to here. And it's good to see hard work paying off. I'll say that. Like I always talk to you guys, I'm so thankful for the position and all of that. We're getting up super early, sometimes before the sun. You guys make that possible because it'd be way harder to get up if no one was watching, right? We did it for years, but now I'm being honest, like, oh man, it'd be tough to still be doing that, not getting any sleep. I had a tweet the other day at EvGuyBoston. Make sure you're following me on Twitter or X. But Yusei Kikichi or whatever, the pitcher for the Blue Jays, had a bad outing against the Yankees or a couple nights ago, whatever. And he was like, it's because I only got 11 hours of sleep last night. Usually I get 14. And I was like, huh? 11 hours of sleep? That's absolutely crazy. So, you know what? If you guys are still watching at this time, go ahead and comment 11 hours in the comments. And yeah, that almost worked out too. We're at like the 12-ish minute mark. So 11 would have been the perfect number, but I rambled for too long. Didn't plan that, but comment 11 hours if you're still watching. But I will say, guys, you guys make this all worth it. And, you know, we put out like 16 videos last week myself. There's only 7 days in the week, you know? Like, we're grinding for this channel because I love doing it. I love the community we're building. And it's good to see that paying off. And I mean that sincerely. You guys are just as much of a part of that and the success as I am, and I'll be completely honest about that. But let's go ahead and get back to the slate, huh? All right, we don't have anything out for the Cleveland and Baltimore game just yet because we don't know who's pitching for Cleveland. Grayson Rodriguez on the mound for Baltimore. And I know I've given him a hard time over the season, but he has been pretty reliable in his last few starts here, in his last 5 in particular, and even in his last 3, 1.96 ERA with a 1.25 whip. So I'd probably, depending on what the line comes out at, I'm going to be leaning towards Baltimore. In terms of a total, I'm imagining it's going to be right around that 8.5 mark, which I think I'd take a peek at the over as well. These two teams, last couple times they played 8-5 and then 12-8. That was back in May, so a couple high-scoring games there. But we'll see what those lines come out at. If Baltimore's anything digestible, you know, -155 being the worst I would go, I do think that I lean pretty heavily towards Baltimore today. All right, guys, if you want to show your support a little bit more, go ahead and check out the Fade Me store, the merch brand we have here on the channel. We got the hoodies for the fall football season. We have the button up if you do want to stick and hang on to summer. These are kind of fun day drinking type shirts. We have the Don't Be a Guppy hoodies and tees now live. These were heavily requested. We launched them yesterday, sold a few, so thank you guys for picking them up. But yeah, these are the, I guess, the ode to the haters and whatnot on the channel here. The Don't Be a Guppy. We have them in tons of colors, which are pretty cool. These purple ones are actually pretty fire. But yeah, guys, if you want to pick up any cool merch, make sure to check out fademe.store. We got hats, we got t-shirts, we got everything, and more coming on the way as well. And make sure to do that. That link will be in the pinned comment, guys. A great way to support the channel. I keep getting emails of like, hey man, like, what's your Cash App? What's this? What's your Venmo? I want to support you further. I want to, you know, give back for all the content you've been making. And I usually just say, hey, go pick up some merch. Like, at least that way you get something out of it. I'd rather you guys buy a shirt in which I only make a small percentage of, right? Then you just giving me 25 bucks. Like I talked about that in a recent video, right? It's like, I'd rather you get, I know you're getting the video content, but come on. I want you to have something tangible there that you can be like, all right, yeah, I paid the 25 bucks, but I also get a cool sweatshirt. I get a cool shirt, that type of thing. So go check out the Fade Me store, guys. FadeMe.store, link in the pinned comment. And yeah, you guys will not be disappointed with the product that you get. I can almost guarantee that. If you don't like the product, it's because you are a guppy, you bought it, and I'm calling BS on that, okay? Because we put years into designing this and making it come to fruition. But you know what? Everyone, different stroke, different folks. If you don't like it, DM me and we'll figure it out, all right? But yeah, go check out FadeMe.store, guys, and support what we're doing here, all right? Let's get back to the slate. Cubs taking on Pittsburgh here. It seemed like everybody and their grandmother was on Pittsburgh yesterday, or on the Cubs yesterday, right? I even leaned the Cubs. I saw a lot of people going with Cubs run line in the comments, which that's a tough one to swallow because they lose 13-7. It's like the Cubs did their job and scored 7 runs, right? But then Justin Steele, the wheels kind of fall off. I think the Cubs bounce back today. In fact, I think that this yesterday's game may help the odds in the Cubs being only -165 over on BetMGM right now. Total sitting at 8.5. Oviedo's on the mound for Pittsburgh going up against Kyle Hendricks. Kyle Hendricks has been consistently meh, I would say, but he has had some success against the White Sox. Wow, the Pittsburgh, the Pirates this time. Almost forgot who they're playing. What a Just take a moment and regroup ourselves, Ev. But he's had some success against the Pirates this season. He's got a 1 flat ERA as in his last 3 against them, with a over a 6 1/3 average innings pitched there. So I'll take the Cubs. I think they're the better team. I think yesterday was more of a fluke than anything. This Pirates team, I really don't believe in the offense. Prior to that, they had scored 1 run, 3 runs, and they dropped 13 on Chicago. Like, I don't know about that. So I will go ahead and take the Cubs in this spot because I think they have the better pitcher and the better team overall. And I think that the odds being -165, yesterday they were right around -170, -180, right? I think they closed at like -200. That loss that the Cubs took, I do think impacts the odds today. So I'll go ahead and take the Cubs in this one. Total sitting at 8.5. I'll still lean towards the over, even though I don't believe in this Pittsburgh offense, but it is kind of a safety net. If Kyle Hendricks lets up, 3 or 4 runs, and so does Johan Oviedo, I do think that that's a over waiting to happen. All right, Oakland taking on Detroit. Scooby on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. Medina on the mound for the Oakland Athletics. And if you can't tell by the tone of my voice, I'm not looking forward to this series whatsoever. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a 4-game series, so buckle up for the next 4 days. We have an instant classic on our hands. I'm going to lean towards Oakland here for no other reason other than the fact that they are +150 against a Detroit team that I don't think is all that good. Detroit coming off of beating LA. They probably have some sort of regression here today. I'm not making this a final play, but I'm also not going to be betting on the Tigers -178 as the best odds. Like that's lunatic talk to me, right? So give me Oakland for no other reason other than the odds. Total sitting at 7.5. I'll lean towards the over because I think this could be sort of a sloppy game where the pitching isn't all that great, even though Scoobal's been fairly good as of late. But I just don't really think that this is going to be the best of series here. I'll take the over just to root for runs, but I doubt anything in this game becomes a final play. In fact, I'll call it now. I doubt anything through the next 4 days, including today, becomes a final play from this series. So it's kind of just one of those bummer ones. All right, Dodgers taking on San Francisco. San Francisco gets the loss yesterday. They lose 7-1. Dodgers also lose here. I think the Dodgers are in a better bounce back spot. They have Emmett Sheehan pitching for them, who he had a rough start against Washington. The offense really had to pull through to get that victory. Only pitched 4 1/3, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs let up. That ain't it, right? Going up against Kyle Harrison, who the kid looked okay to start. Now he's kind of started to fall off. Playing against San Diego, Colorado, then Cleveland. His ERA in his last 3 starts here is at 7.36 with a 1.57 whip. It's a lot of juice to be paying. -180 is your best bet right now over on DK or FanDuel. I'll lean towards the Dodgers. Maybe even the run line for +110. You're getting plus money there on a team that I do think there's a large discrepancy between the talent of 2 teams. And you could even say, well, Emmett Sheehan hasn't been pitching all that great, right? Right. But he's going up against a pitcher that the wheels really have fallen off in his last few starts. So I'll take the Dodgers possibly on the run line here. Total sitting at 9. I'd like to think that this is an easy sort of look at an over, but this San Francisco offense we know is totally volatile. And then the Dodgers 3-2 are the run totals that they've had in the last 2 games. So I might be leaning towards the over here, guys. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if anything in this game becomes a final play. But yeah, it's kind of a tricky one here. But guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, like, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. And yeah, we got plenty of football content coming. My eyelids haven't seen the bottom. My top eyelids haven't seen the bottom of my eyelids in like days because we're not sleeping, doing so much work. But I truly tell you that with a smile on my face, because we are grinding our asses off to bring this channel to where I want it to go, and we're nowhere near that yet. 30,000 subscribers sounds unbelievable to me. Never thought we'd get there, but I have bigger dreams, taking you guys along with me. So we'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace out.